it's reconnecting. Okay. Okay, guys, welcome to another episode of Be Real X Talk Show. I'm your host, Justin R. for Results French, aka the Revenue Ronin. I'm here with special guest Craig Nolin of Virtual Synergy. He's actually one of our sponsors for many spaces on X, and so today we're doing a very special episode. We're driving around Claremont here, but yeah, Craig, introduce yourself to everyone.
Perfect. Absolutely. I'm Craig Nolin with Virtual Synergy Incorporated, also known as VSI. We are an administration outsource agency that specializes in virtual assistants to help businesses take care of the tedious, mundane busyness of work that doesn't really help promote or create revenue, but is necessary for keeping in business. As a result of a lot of cool things that came down, we actually came up with this idea 3 years ago from a business that actually needed a virtual assistant. And when we created the solution, we actually broke it away and started working with it. And here we are.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and how we know each other, guys, just so you know, we have some people rolling in here. Just give us a thumbs up if the video is coming through okay. Is it in its right setting, or do we need to make adjustments? And yeah, feel free to request the mic. Shout out to Christelle and Russ, and Eric says hi, Christelle. We got Pelvin, we got Muzi, we got Web3. Great. Okay, awesome. We're getting thumbs up. Amazing. Thank you guys for being here and supporting. And but yeah, how I know Craig is a local networking group. We have a mutual colleague and friend named James Hickey, or Jim Hickey, depending on how long you go back with him. So that's a story for another day. Yeah. But I met Craig at one of the networking events that James was hosting, and they provide virtual assistants. And I was really interested in virtual assistants because as I scale my agency, as you know, you don't want to be a solopreneur, right? You want to have people help you build your team, and that's the way you scale. And so I knew Christelle, shout out to Christelle, I knew she had some virtual assistants, and so which was really attractive. But I had mentioned to you about what I was building on X, and all the hard work that I've been putting in with the community, and that we were looking for sponsors. And so yeah, and here we are. So yeah, thanks again, Craig, for being open to the sponsorship. And that was a big notch on my belt that I really wanted to accomplish in Q1, was really work with the local company who saw benefit in the growth of the community that we're building here on X, and all the great stuff that all the members are contributing to. So yeah, thank you so much, Craig. And yeah, I know marketing people, there's a lot of people that talk about marketing, but then there's people who do marketing. And you, as a fellow CMO, that it's challenging sometimes to track return on investment and stuff like that. So talk to us a little bit about what got you interested in working with myself, and agreeing to the sponsorship. That would be super helpful for everyone.
Absolutely. Well, one of the aspects of business, especially what we're in, we are very generalized in the field of everyone needs an administrator for their businesses. And there is a little hot market right now because after COVID, everybody was not in their offices anymore, so they're hiring people. So looking for unique and wonderful ways to bring our brand out and actually get our name out there to show that we are actually supporting businesses. We actually did meet at James Hickey's SD networking events, and you presented a really great solution to get our social media, but you also pointed out that X is now one of the is growing, or is one of the biggest B2B platforms for businesses, and we are B2B. That's our service. We're B2B. So a lot of the social media out there is B2C, and we were looking for B2B, and you provided that expression for us.
Awesome. And I know as part of the consideration was really looking at the metrics, right? Because I really like to look at the data and get in and talk about, hey, what does this data mean? What does those metrics translate into, like brand awareness, visibility, and but at the end of the day, it's all about eyeballs, right? You want to get those more eyeballs on your business, and yeah, I just think as you know, and everyone out there, X is like the hot spot right now for B2B, right? And creators, there's a lot of creators out there building, and they get to a certain point where they start to sign clients and then they need help. So it just made sense. And that's another pro tip for everyone is you want to partner and get sponsors that really align with the where you're at in your journey. I think that's really critical. So and the cost savings, right? The cost savings that can be achieved by building communities and building connections, and yeah, just that snowball effect. I call it the snowball marketing effect. Once you build that brand awareness and that momentum, things can really start to take off. But you got to give it like 90 days, right? That's why I always do like pilot programs like 90 days, right? Because it takes time to build trust, right? But then once you have it, it's only up from there. So, but yeah, so Craig, I really like to, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and this being Be Real X Talks show, I have a couple questions I ask my guests. And so, and we may be getting out over here soon, and I'll show you guys a little tour of like a hiking spot that Craig really likes. And that's what I like to do with some of our guests, is take them to some areas where they like. So, but yeah, tell us a little bit about your background and, introduce yourself.
So my background, I'm a world traveler. I've been around, I've done things, I've had many businesses, but worked for an airline, worked for the telephone company, worked for a lot of companies as both in marketing, both in sales. And I have a lot of experience in remote working, because working for a telephone company, we actually were one of the first to actually do remote employment. And so coming into Virtual Synergy Incorporated as a partner owner, my skills actually came out really well, because I understand the difficulty is for businesses to get employees to work from home. Or at least having an employee who doesn't work at the office. And after COVID, with everything that went on, a lot of people got rid of their offices. They're doing temporary offices, or they have home offices. And when you want to employ, you're an entrepreneur, a solopreneur. You can even be a small business and have your people working from other places. But to hire someone new in, you have to make sure that they that they have the proper skills and talents. I got into virtual synergy and virtual assistants simply because that is the way to support business today, especially in today's growing competitive world where jobs are there's a lot more jobs out there than we think. But for businesses that are smaller, that they have I understand from a business perspective that they have a budget and they have a way of they need an ROI that actually creates a structure. It's the 80-20 rule of things. And I've been working with Daniel Secchi, who is the founder of Virtual Synergy, to create this for the last year. He's been doing it for 3 years, and I got bought into it here last year, and we've been really growing since. We are. I don't know. That's pretty much that's my background. I'm a sales marketing, and I really love to support businesses.
Awesome. Yeah, like I like to tell people, we got a big heart for small business, right? Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of small business out there that are really the key drivers of, a lot of industry and a lot of, economics. So, yeah, amazing. So, one of the first questions I like to ask is, what is your superpower? If you could say, what is one thing about you where you're like, what, this is my superpower? What would that be for you?
I'll do two things. Personally, I'm a person who is actually very positive and uplifting and supportive. My superpower is to see the best in a person and bring it out of them. In my personal life, I've helped a lot of people outside of VSI. I'm a life coach, and I've helped people come to their goals and their plans with fruition, and not just business, but personal, getting stuff. I see the potential, and I grow it and water it. And one of the big things why I like Virtual Synergy Incorporated is because I wanted to do something for the 3D world as well as that we have for the personal world. What kind of business would actually do that? And so I also think that superpower got transferred over into Virtual Synergy Incorporated because I see the potential in the businesses, and I can see the reasons why that they're not succeeding is not because they're not successful. It's because we only have so much time in our day, and you can't add more hours to the day. It just time keeps on moving,
Yeah.
and so the best way to help everyone with that is to go and actually duplicate yourself, or get something that will get rid of whatever you're doing that's taking up all your time, that's not making revenue. So get that, delegate it out, and focus on what matters. So my superpower on that is that I can actually tell you how to make sure you are getting your administration done, you get your SOPs done, your tasks, your workflow, and we work together with businesses. So my mind thinks that bring out the best potential out of a person.
Awesome. I love that, Craig. Yeah. I that really resonates with me. Like, I'm really into personal development, and when you work with people who are people first, right? People first, and it's always people first, and then everything else takes care of itself after that, typically, right?
Absolutely.
So, and if you can really help other people realize their full potential, this is why I love the X platform, because there's some of the smartest, brightest minds on the internet, and it's global, right? And, we have global friendships of people there, and yeah, I think at the end of the day, I have this utopic view that, look, everyone should have a business. Like, everyone should have a business that they own, they control, right? And that's one of the pillars of the Revenue Ronin community that I've created, is really, even if you work in corporate, like, you got to build your own thing, right? You have to have that outlet, right? It's like an outlet for me. And working in corporate, that was one of the things that I really missed, was, hey, I got to do my own thing. And I built alongside my corporate gigs as well. So, but one thing I will say about virtual assistants now, there is a learning curve, right? And it's really on you guys, and I'm talking to you guys out there, and shout out to Alex Utopia, Christelle, Russ. We got a few others out there listening. Thank you guys for being here. We really appreciate the support. And when it comes to the virtual assistants, like, you got to train them, right? Like, there's a learning curve. So you got to show them, like, hey, this is the process, right? This is, how I do things. And then what I like about and I actually use Virtual Synergy, right? Let me be honest here, right, guys? Like, I use the service. So I'm not just talking about something that I have no experience with. That would not be genuine. I like to collaborate with partners that I actually use their service, and that I've used the tool, or fill in the blank, right? Because that makes the experience that much more authentic and genuine. That's what
Absolutely.
It's all about.
Yeah.
So, but and you tell me if I'm wrong here, but usually when it comes to virtual assistants, some people think that, they're just gonna be able to take over everything right away, and that's not the case. Like, you have to train them, right? You have to there's a training period, and so your VA is only as good as you train them. Right. So yeah. I had to spend some time onboarding my virtual assistant, explaining, here's how my business functions. I had this whole onboarding process, which that's helped it go smoother, right?
Yeah.
And now she's doing great. She's working 20 hours a week. She's taking care of things such as, video editing, graphic design, the Ronin community. She's really supporting me on content, email marketing, social media, a lot of things. And now I'm going to start training her on how to run ads. So that's going to be the next phase. And yeah, I know a lot of the people on X here, are considering ads as well, because they get to a point where it's like, once you know and have a proven model that works organically, you want to amplify that with some paid ads, right?
Yeah.
And it can be harder to convert people, but it's a numbers game, right? All
Yeah.
you need is those people that are interested. So, but yeah, is that kind of the case when it comes to VAs?
Absolutely. So one of the biggest obstacles I do find when it comes to people needing virtual assistants, they're thinking a virtual assistant sometimes is the magic wand that saves their business, but forget that a virtual assistant essentially is a employee without the W-2. Mm-hmm. So if you have an employee, what would you do when you bring the employee in? They already have the basic skill set and talent, but you still need to onboard them. You still need to train them on your business. You still need to train them on your product. You still need to get them incorporated with your company. Otherwise, the virtual assistant will just sit there and do nothing, because you're not telling them what to do. I mean, you don't want to tell them what to do, but you have to. And that's exactly the biggest obstacle. So teaching people how to do the SOP, the workflow, Virtual Synergy, make sure that we can give you these tools to help onboard if you've never done that before. Because a lot of entrepreneurs have been doing them themselves. They've been wearing many hats. And we have experience in this because we've owned many businesses ourselves, and we found a solution with virtual assistants that we found worked for our businesses, and we just separate it out and give it to other people's businesses.
Nice.
The other thing is our virtual assistants aren't not trained. They are completely they have 3 years of experience in the field that you're actually going to be hiring for, and they will have a degree or a PhD in the niche, so marketing or business administration or any of those things. So we at Virtual Synergy don't just say, hey, we have someone who can do your administration for you. We have someone who's a professional who actually comes in and actually does it.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's helpful, like having the foundation of the education, but then also, because everyone's business is different, right? At the end of the day, I mean, it can be in similar industries like, a marketing agency or a ghostwriting agency like Kevin. Shout out to Kevin. Good to see you, brother. He's actually the co-founder of the Startup Circle community. And so, yeah, shout out to you, Kevin. We're up to 3,500 members now.
Wow.
Of the community on X. Yeah, and Virtual Synergy is the main sponsor for a lot of some of our spaces, not only in the Revenue Ronin community, but the Startup Circle, and also the AI for Biz show at 12 o'clock to 1 on AI Business. So thank you, Craig, for your support. It means the world. You guys are the official first sponsor. So, we're just so happy to have that. Yeah. So yeah, and I know you've already been getting on a few calls with some people on, exploring VA services. So that's great. And yeah, so the next question I always like to ask my guests here, Craig, is what is the one question that you wish people would ask you, and then answer that?
That was a hard one because when you told me that question, I was like, there's a lot of things I could say, but the question that I would like to ask is, how can you solve my pinch point? It's just simple. It comes right down to, how can you solve my pinch point? So I can actually now ask the question, what is the problem going on that you need solving that a virtual assistant can help? A lot of people don't ask about their solutions. They're looking for VA or whatever. But when you phrase it and they ask me that question, it opens up the dialogue and allows us to find the right person for them.
I love that. Yeah, and typically, especially in marketing, as you know, right, it's like they think the problem is one thing, right, but in actuality, it's another thing, right? So, for example, I always like to use this example. So, I have a client who, they want me to run Google ads for them, right? But the real problem that I'm solving is I'm getting their phone to ring, right? So it's like Google ads is just the vehicle that's going to help them get the phone to ring, right? So the real problem I'm solving is, hey, they don't have any phone calls coming in, inbound interest for their business, right? And so my job as a marketer is to tap into where is that already interest happening online, that flow, and then how do we become part of that, interest, and then really translate that into phone calls.
That's right.
Right. So
and the pinch point is, how can I do the thing I want to do not have to do the things I don't need to do or don't want to do?
Yes. Yeah, the whole method and ethos that I have is learn it, do it, delegate it. Right? You got to learn it, then you do it, and then you delegate it, right? Because that's the only way you can scale, and then you can train other people on, how to do it, and then yeah, there's a great opportunity to continue scaling your business. And I'm about to bring on my VA like full time, like I said, to help train her how to run ads. And but then from there, I'm just going to keep growing. And yeah, it's all about that continued growth. And sometimes you'll realize, look, and do you have some clients that have like multiple VAs? Can you talk us through a little bit about that as you get to a certain point? Like how does that scaling happen? So
yeah, actually, one of our first clients actually is a doctor's office, and they had over 20 VAs.
Wow.
So like they grow and shrink sometimes, but averagely 20 VAs, and going through that process, because it was right in the beginning, was a great opening to how our VA structure works. We figured out a very good way of actually putting workflow in, putting team leaders in, how to train them so that the team leader trains the other team leaders, and then you have like 3 or 4 team leaders that will take care of the entire the next 15 VAs, training them. They become their own department.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Yeah. Well, this has been super insightful here, and yeah. Do you want to go to the next location here? Are we gonna hop out of that hiking spot, or what do you think?
Hiking spot's right down here. If we want to
Okay.
travel up, if you want to park over into down to the right, actually, we might actually want to drive down for a sec, so we can talk for a second. But
Okay.
it's at the other side of that building there,
Oh, okay. You want him to drive over there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
rather than walking
Sounds
across the
good.
parking lot.
Yeah. Sounds good.
I like doing things smarter, not harder.
Yes. Yes.
That's why I'm in this business.
And so, how was the recent networking group on Thursday? I missed it, unfortunately, Craig. But I heard it. I saw a nice venue there.
It was very nice. Sila's rooftop was amazing. I think that's probably one of the best ones I've been to. Where great crowd, entrepreneurs. I made a few good connections with some AI tech companies that are growing in the AI world. And we here at Virtual Synergy Incorporated, we want to make sure we're updated on the technology because our assistants need to be
Yes.
able to administrate even the AI work. And everyone's like, well, will AI replace us? No, we're future proof because AI still needs an assistant.
Yes, that's brilliant. Yeah, and speaking of AI, we got like top AI people on here right now. My buddy Alex Utopia, he's one of like the OGs on AI that I've been following. So shout out to Alex, and also Christelle, she's big on AI. Same with Russ and a few others on the space here. And yeah, I've been training my VA on Grok. I've been training her on ChatGPT. I've been training her on Claude, and these different models, they kind of, you get a different flavor from each.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, all right, guys, well, we're going to take you along a little walk here. We're going to jump out here and take a look at what's going on here in San Diego. Eric, you're going to man this camera here. Just keep it like that, front facing there. And the Model X here is good. With the Falcon wings, it's called the Falcon wings. It's always driven around over here with our good buddy Eric, and yeah, there's Craig right here. Hi, Craig.
How's it going?
So yeah, we're in Claremont, right, Craig? Is that where we are?
Yeah, we're in Claremont. So we're in my area. This area has excellent hiking trails. It's all built on hills and valleys. And this is a great hiking valley where you just walk down. It's a nice little walk. And you actually walk back to my backyard. So there's only about 5 minutes.
And tell us about your dog. You have an awesome dog.
Arrow is actually Danny's dog. But,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's a Belgian Shepherd.
Okay.
And he's 10 months old and he's still a puppy. So he's a handful.
Yeah, he's big. He's big. Yeah, I met him. I love dogs. I'm a big dog lover. Not so much a cat lover. Sorry, Russ, but yeah, I'm a big dog lover. Plus, I'm allergic to cats, so I got that going for me. So
I have another dog. He's a long-haired Dachshund that is with his grandparents. My parents' grandparents right now.
Oh, nice.
Dogs are the best. They keep people alive. And keep people moving.
Yeah, man's best friend. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Awesome. Well, yeah, it's a nice, beautiful day here today in Claremont, and yeah, not too far from downtown San Diego here. And yeah, this is nice. We're gonna go grab some lunch now. Tell us about this spot that you like here, Craig. Tell us about it.
It's Ari's French Cafe. You might never do it. It's probably one of the best French cafes in San Diego. When I went to France 4 years ago, we went to a 3-star Michelin chef, and he was testing out all the food everywhere. And so it's always a place to try. When I came to San Diego for the first time, looking for fresh food, I went to Ari's and brought back the city.
Wow. It's good if it brings back memories with friends. That's
Yeah.
next level.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, guys, we're gonna get back in the car here and go to the restaurant here. So hang with us here as we start wrapping up the show. And feel free to request the mic, guys. We're ready to have you guys ask some questions to either myself or Eric or Craig here about virtual synergy. We'd love to have you. We see some mic requests coming in here, so awesome. All right. So yeah, let's head back in here. There's Eric. He's also a driver, a good friend, and also a camera guy. So we do it all, guys. Okay? So when you come visit San Diego, you
Thanks
book
for
us
having
up,
us, man.
Yeah.
and you're in good hands with Eric. Okay, like this is VIP. All right, this is VIP.
Hey!
All right, this is how we roll here, guys. You're riding with the Ronins right now, okay, guys? You're riding with the Ronins. That's how we do it. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, yeah, let's get these mic requests up. Ask some questions. Who do we got coming up here? We got Russ and we got King David. Okay. Amazing. Awesome, Eric. You're good, Eric. All right, Russ, how you doing, man? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Your video is now sideways for us.
Uh-oh. How about now?
Oh.
Is it good now?
Now the video's off.
Oh, now the video's off.
We gotta get Starlink.
Definitely.
Yeah, Starlink, we need a sponsor here. Okay. Bear with me 1 second. No, I don't want to end it. Okay, is it good now, Russ?
Still no video for me. Yeah.
Wow, that's weird.
Is that only him?
Is anyone else having issues with video, or is it just Russ? Feel free to come off mic. We'd really appreciate it as we troubleshoot here. Yeah, sorry, Russ. I'm working on it, brother.
That's okay. Well, anyway, I just wanted to say, this has been a really great talk, Craig. I feel like you bring a lot of value, a lot of knowledge and perspective. I think there's certainly a lot of people I talk to on this platform. They don't know that they need a VA. They don't understand the pain that they're really in. And I think having sort of the experience and knowledge you have in this space is really valuable for us. I mean, I don't know who's paying who here, but really, I appreciate you coming in and hanging out with us.
Oh, thank you. Absolutely. We have all our VAs are overseas, so to keep it a little competitive pricing, we have that in Philippines, and now we also have Spanish speaking out in Colombia as well, and they're all employees of Virtual Synergy Incorporated.
Nice.
Wow, that's great.
Real nice.
That's really good. Yeah, great question, Russ. And Russ, he's a software developer, and he's also a investor. So yeah, he teaches people investing, and very sharp guy that I've met on X here. So yeah, I really appreciate you being here, Russ, and checking in, brother. And hope your Saturday is going well. Is the video working for you now, Russ, before we go to Christelle?
Still no video for me, yeah.
Okay. All right, Christelle, is the video working for you? Hope you're having a great Saturday. So good to see you.
Hi, Craig. Hi, Eric.
Hi, Christelle. How are you?
Hello.
I'm your biggest fan on X. Great to see you. Well, hear you. I don't see you.
It's good
Right,
to
we're
hear
gonna
you
become-
too.
We're going to become fans.
I'm your biggest fan in the real world.
Oh, yeah? Well, that's even better.
Oh yeah.
And yes, I can see the video. I should have said that first.
Ah, so you probably just use it.
Okay.
Yeah, we can see the video.
Perfect.
I'm with my 2.5-year-old, and he does not like it when I share his attention. So I can't stay on the mic long.
Romeo.
But good to see you all.
How's Romeo doing today?
He's a little toddlerish today.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
A little two-ish. But he's good. We're about to go outside.
Awesome. Yeah, and Christelle is no stranger to VAs. She has 2 VAs from the Philippines as well.
Yep.
So
Wow.
she's very familiar with the whole VA space, and that's how she's able to scale her agency. In fact, she just landed a new contract, and she's looking to land her next big high ticket client soon. So yeah, so good to have you here, Christelle, and wishing you a great weekend. And Christelle's gonna be doing some new some new spaces about finding her husband on X. She's gonna find her husband on
Oh
X.
my gosh, that's a lot for Craig. We just met. He's gonna be like this crazy woman looking for her husband on X.
Who's looking for her husband next?
Christelle. Eric's shocked now, Christelle. We shocked him.
I'm very shocked.
Yeah, someone's creating a find my husband GPT.
That's perfect.
We're gonna put AI to the test on this.
Yes, it's always a test, guys. Everything is a test, I'm telling you.
That's a testimony.
The testimony, yes. Awesome.
No, but I do have a legit question for Craig. I'd love to know kind of how much support you give entrepreneurs when it comes to the training and onboarding, because that is the thing, like you all were talking about earlier. They kind of just expect the VA to come in being able to solve all their problems, and that becomes difficult because it's like, well, no, there is a level of training, that's involved. And so I'm trying to work out on my own, like how much of that training should I be doing or should I be expecting them to do? So I'd love to know, just kind of how you all are doing it.
Absolutely. First, thank you very much for the question. We actually have worked with our VAs to actually know what to ask and how to ask. But the first thing that we have to make sure we know is that the virtual assistant is the right person for the right job. So, with onboarding training, so forth, you don't want to train someone who doesn't have the skills set. So, we have the business actually give us a business list, a job posting with a SOP, and then from there we are able to ensure that at least the virtual assistant doesn't have to be trained on the basic systems or basic processes of what they're doing. So if they're being a bookkeeper, they'd have to be doing the bookkeeping for 3 years already. So that training process, when they're already doing the job, they're going in and running already. So it's not going to take a long time to onboard them onto your business. When it comes to training and certificates, we actually have a training and certificate program for our VAs to keep them updated on things like Go High Level, the new AI that's coming, all AI is coming out, how to prompt properly to make their job easier for the business. So we keep our VAs educated in that way. But for a business, personally, I do talk about workflows. It takes about the first couple shifts, about 4 to 8 hours. You want to get to know them. You want to make sure that they are communicating properly. You want to show them exactly what your business does, exactly what they're doing in the business, and what their role is. So it will take probably 1 or 2 days to actually go in the training. But on our side, we make sure that they are the right person. So even after that first week, we do a recap saying, how was that virtual assistant? And if we talk to the virtual assistant, how was the client? And we can find if there's any communication gaps or whatever we need to do. We make sure that either we solve them with that VA, or we find a better virtual assistant, because the whole benefit of having a virtual assistant with us is that we're here to get the right one for you. You don't have to go through those disadvantages of a W-2, or where you have to have a 3-week probation period or whatever. You put $10,000 in the training to find out that they're not the right person. It's easy to switch them over to the right person. So our process and our purpose is to make sure that the business actually has the right person for the right job. So it actually is very simple how to do the training. They just have to keep in the mindset that they are an employee, just without the W-2. So if you have an onboarding process, you would apply that to them as well. And we have the systems in place, and we find the right person in the first place who will actually understand it.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, that's good, Craig. Yeah, thank you for that overview. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to continuing the partnership with Virtual Synergy and yourself and Danny. And yeah, it's just been great so far. I know you guys are getting more versed on X now, and that that continues to grow. And yeah, no, it's been just a great partnership so far. So great question, Christelle. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
yeah, any other questions, guys, before we start wrapping up? And then we'll give you a little tour here of where we're gonna go eat. This looks like a lovely little French restaurant here, so I'm excited. So but yeah, let us know any last minute questions here before we wrap up another episode of Be Real X Talks. So awesome. Okay, we got King David coming up here. Let me make sure this is a legit account here. Yes, it is. Okay, you know, you can never be too careful these days on these X streets. It gets spicy out here. So yeah, 1 second, King David. Let's get you up here.
Oh, King David.
Yeah, King David, can you hear us? Oh, it says connecting here. So let's give it one more second.
Says he's not in the U.S. So it could be his side.
Yeah.
So being that he's not in the U.S.,
Yeah.
we're not just local. We are worldwide.
Okay.
We have clients in New Zealand, Australia, and Europe and Canada as well.
Oh, wow.
Because we are a service, it makes it very easy for a business to pick it up because all you need is a credit card. That's we don't do any long-term contracts. We don't do anything that. You just give us the SOPs. You give us the job listing. We can have the VA, and it's $9 an hour for 40 hours, and $10 an hour for 20 hours. But there's no setup fees, no change fees. It's a weekly thing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So it
love
doesn't
that.
matter where you're in the world. You can have a virtual assistant help you with the business, and it's not U.S. based. We were a U.S. based company, but you don't have to be a U.S. based company to use our services.
Gotcha. Okay, that's a big distinction there. So thanks for clarifying. And it looks like King David's having some challenges there. So, okay, guys, we're gonna walk over to the restaurant here and close out the show. So stick with us here. Kevin, good to see you. King David, sorry about the connection issues. Russ, always a pleasure, brother. Thank you for your support. I hope you're having a great Sunday so far. Eric, can you grab this camera here and walk out with us? Here you go. And yeah, guys, it's a beautiful San Diego day here. We're paying the sunshine tax, so you don't have to when you come visit, right? So when you come visit, like, you don't have to pay that sunshine tax.
So good.
Bless you, brother.
I was holding that in all day.
We're gonna go have lunch today at the French restaurant. Check it out. Let me see if I can show you the. See if I can show you the Model X here. Nice shot. There you go. There you go. There's the Model X. There she is. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna go in and eat here. So, yeah. What's the name of the restaurant? Arlie? Yeah. Arlie. Okay, Arlie French Bakery Cafe right there. We're gonna go eat there. And yeah, any final words here, Craig, before we sign off?
Absolutely. For everybody, you know, I know that I'm a traditional networker, so I actually forget that I'm actually advertising. So you know, if you find that you do need to have a virtual assistant, there is really the ROI on having a virtual assistant, even to try it out, is almost nothing. It's like $360 a week compared to the $2,000, $3,000 for an employee without having to go through all that process of the HR and everything else, having the workspace, etc. You know, try it out. If you're wondering what a virtual assistant can do, this is the best way because we are secure. We're a managed, dedicated virtual assistant agency. You're not going on Freelancer. You're not going on all those job postings and negotiating with that virtual assistant yourself. You're dealing directly with myself or my team. And we can make this easy and make it very easy for you, even to try it out, so you understand what a virtual assistant does. And if you know anyone who actually is looking to scale, somebody who is actually wearing too many hats and needs to be relaxed, because that's how Danny really started this. He was so busy, he actually had heart problems. He was so busy that he was doing everything. And delegating is very important to business. And if you're not going to work smarter, you're going to work harder, and you're going to work harder to the point that you're going to put yourself out of business simply because you can't do it anymore. So we want to help you, and we want to help businesses all across the U.S. and the world. We take care of everyone. We act locally and think regionally.
Awesome. Yeah,
Nice.
Thank you again, Craig, for being here. Say goodbye, Eric.
I love you guys.
Much love, guys. Hey, this has been another episode of Be Real X Talks, and I'm your host, Justin Arc Results French, aka the Revenue Ronin. Stay hungry, stay humble. Look, at the end of our lives, we'll ask ourselves 4 simple questions. Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? And did I make a difference? Until next time, keep making a difference. Build that mind, build that body, build that business, build that bank account, but most importantly, build that legacy. So stay hungry, and stay humble. We'll see you guys at the top, and we'll see you guys on the Model
Amen.
X,
See ya.
Tesla. Okay, and if you want to keep growing, you better call the
Call
Revenue
us.
Ronin. Much love, guys. Have a good one.
Peace.
Love you guys.
That's pretty good.